Good morning. Today we are solving systems by elimination again. However, our equations are going to be a little bit more challenging because we're going to have to multiply our whole equation by a number in order to eliminate. So remember, to eliminate we need like 2x and negative 2x in order for those to be eliminated, and our y's, for example, would not be eliminated. Those would stay the same and we would have like 8y. However, some of our problems today aren't going to have the same number for x's or for y's. So we're going to need to decide which equation, or both, do we need to multiply by a number in order for one of the letters to be eliminated. So if we look at this equation, eventually we're going to want to add these up or subtract them. But if you look at our x's, we're 3 and 5, and our y's are 2 and negative 4. Well, I noticed that these two, one of them is a multiple of the other. 4 is a multiple of 2. So if I take this top equation and multiply it by 2, both of our y's will then be the number 4. We need one to be positive and one to be a negative. So this will end up being a 4y, and this is a negative 4y, so then when we add them together, they'll go away. So I'm going to rewrite this equation. I'm going to multiply everything by 2. Because I can't just multiply the y by 2, just like when we subtracted, we had to subtract every single number. So we're really distributing here. So 2 times 5x is 10x, 2 times 2 is 4y, and then equals 2 times 16. You could add 16 up 2 times, should give you 32. The second equation didn't change. It says 3x minus 4y equal to 20. Now, just like we did the other day, we can add our equations together. The reason why I'm adding and not subtracting is because our 4's are already opposites. One's negative and one's positive. So adding this, 10x plus 3x is 13x. 4 minus 4 eliminates. And then equals, well, 32 plus 20 is going to give us 52. And then we need to get x by itself, so I'm going to divide by 13. So we have x equals, and now I would plug this in my calculator. 52 divided by 13 should give us 4. So we know x is 4. Now we need to plug it back into one of our equations to find y. You can use the first equation, the second equation, or the one that you multiplied by 2. It doesn't matter. I'm going to use this bottom one because we didn't mess with it yet. So it says 3x and x is 4 minus 4y equals 20. Well, 3 times 4 is just 12. So 12 minus 4y equal to 20. We're getting y by itself, so I'm going to subtract 12. Those eliminate, and we have negative 14. Oh, I don't know why that became 14. It should be just a 4. So it should be negative 4y. That shouldn't have changed. Equal to, well, 20 minus 12 should give us 8. And then divide by negative 4. Those eliminate, and we have y equals a negative 2. So our answer should be x, which is 4, and y, which is negative 2. Let's try the next one, the same thing. We need to multiply one of our equations by a number in order to get x or y the same number so we can eliminate. Well, 2 you can't multiply by anything to get 3, but you can multiply 5 by 2 to get 10. So these are both the same number. However, if this is 10 and this is 10, they're both positives. We need one of them to be a negative. So we're going to multiply by negative 2 in order for one to be positive and one to be negative. So they'll eliminate. So let's multiply or distribute everything here by negative 2. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4x. Negative 2 times 5 is negative 10y. Equal to, well, negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Rewrite the second equation just like it is. 3x plus 10y equal to negative 3. Then we're going to add and subtract these together. We already have them opposites now because we multiplied by negative, so we can just combine. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1x. 10 minus 10 eliminates. And then negative 6 minus 3 is negative 9 because they're all negatives. Then get rid of this 1, so divide by negative 1 because it was multiplied. So we have x equals, well, two negatives when you multiply or divide make a positive. So 9 divided by 1 is just 9. So now we need to plug this back in. I'm going to actually pick this first equation because they're all positive numbers and they're smaller. These ones, there's a lot more going on there. So 2x, and x is 9, plus 5y equals 3. I plugged in x is 9 into that equation for x. Well, 2 times 9, or 9 times 2 is 18. And then get y by itself, so get rid of this 18, I'm going to subtract 18. So we have 5y equal to, and there's more negatives, 3 minus 18, they're different signs, so subtract 18 minus 3 is 15, so negative 15. And then divide by 5 to get rid of that 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1, 1y or just y. And then negative 15 divided by 5 is negative 3. So our answer is 9, negative 3. Alright, let's take a look at this next one. Only one problem on this slide. We need to get rid of our x's or our y's. Well, if we look at our x's, 6 is not a multiple of 2, but 6 is a multiple of 2, so we can multiply 2 by 3 in order for these both to be the same number. We couldn't multiply the y's unless we multiplied both of them. So it's easier to just multiply one equation, which we've been doing. But if this is multiplied by 3, this is positive and this is positive, we need one of them to be negative, so might as well just multiply by a negative 3. So let's distribute everything or multiply everything by negative 3. It gives us a negative 6x. Negative times a negative, a negative times a positive is a negative. 3 times 3 is 9y. And then negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. Some people forget to multiply the last number. Don't forget to multiply. And then here we have 6x plus 5y equal to 19. Now we can add them up. Here we have 6 and negative 6. Those eliminate. 6 minus 6 is 0. There's nothing left. 5 minus 9, there's more negatives. 9 minus 5 is 4, so 4y. And then 19 minus 15 leaves us with 4. So we're going to divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4. So those eliminate, and we have y equals, and 4 divided by 4 is 1, but there's more negatives, so it's a negative 1. Y is negative 1. Now let's plug this into one of our equations to solve. I like this bottom one because they're smaller numbers. So it says 2x plus 3y, but y is really now a negative 1, all equal to 5. So let's solve this. Negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. And then solving for x, we need to add 3 to get rid of this subtraction. Add 3. Those eliminate. And we have 2x equal to, well, 5 plus 3 is 8. And then divide by 2. Divide by 2. X should equal 4. So our answer is x, which is 4, and y, which is negative 1. If you're not sure if you did it right, if you got a weird number, you can always plug in what you got for x and y, multiply here, and then add those up. If you get 19, you know you did it right. So you can double check in both if you'd like. Alright, on this next one, this top one is not in standard form. Remember, we need x and y on the same side before we can solve. So we need this x over on the other side, so I'm going to have to subtract that 5x. I'm just going to write minus 5x and rewrite it over here. So we have a negative 5x plus we have 9y equal to 5. So I just moved the x over to the other side. The second one, I didn't need to change anything. It says 3x minus 7y equal to 5. So now this is where it gets a little bit tricky. If you look at our x's, you can't multiply 3 by anything to get 5. You can't multiply 7 by anything to get 9. So we're going to have to multiply either both numbers for x or both numbers for y. I'm going to pick the x's because 3 and 5 are smaller than 7 and 9. Well, 5 times 3 is 15, so if I want both x's to be a 15, I'm going to have to multiply both equations. This top equation, to get x to be 15, I would have to multiply by 3, so that would give me 15. And this bottom equation is 3, so I'd have to multiply by 5. So you're really multiplying by the opposite number. So we're going to multiply all these by 3 and all of these by 5 simply to just get the x's to be the same number. One's already negative and one's already positive. So I'm going to start off with the top one. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15x. 3 times 9 is 27, so 27y, equal to 3 times 5, which is 15. Then on the bottom, 3x times 5 is 15x. 5 times negative 7 is negative 35y, equals 5 times 5, which is 25. Now I can combine my two equations together. 15 and negative 15 eliminate. That was our goal. That's why we multiplied these two by this certain numbers. Negative 27 minus 35. There's more negatives. If you're not sure, count up from 27 to 35. Well, 27, 28, 29, 30, plus 5 more will give us 8. We have negative 8y. And then 15 plus 25, add those up, should be 40. And then our last step to get y by itself is divide by negative 8. So we have y equal to a negative, and 40 divided by 8 should give us 5. So now you can plug this negative 5 into either one of these equations or either one of these equations because they're really the same. These ones we just multiplied or made bigger so that we could eliminate. I'm going to use this first one because x and y are on opposite sides. So 9y and y is negative 5 equals 5x plus 5. If you want to use the bottom equation, we can prove that you get the same answer. So 9 times negative 5 is, well, 9 times 5 is 45, and it's negative. And then 5x plus 5. And then we want to get x by itself, so get rid of your addition and subtraction first. I'm going to subtract 5. So those eliminate. Negative 45 minus 5, they're all negatives. If I owe you $45 and now I owe you 5 more, I owe you $50. Then we have 5x. So divide by 5. X should equal a negative 10. 50 divided by 5 is 10. So our answer is negative 10, comma, negative 5. Oops, next page. Alright, this one's similar. We need to get x and y on the same side. The second one is not set up nicely, so I'm going to move this over to the other side by subtracting 3x. So we have negative 3x plus 2y equal to a negative 9. Top equation stays the same. 4x plus 5y equal to 35. And then on this problem, you get to decide. Do you want to get rid of the x's or the y's? Now look, you need one to be positive and one to be negative, and they have to be the same number. Like we need -7 and +7 if we're going to get rid of those. So we can either multiply these two numbers or these two numbers, because 2 is not a multiple of 5, 3 is not a multiple of 4, they don't work. These are the same positive, they're both positive, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try and get rid of our x's because one's already positive and one's already negative. So these both multiply into 12. 3 times 4 is 12. So here I'm going to multiply this one by 3 and this one by 4 in order to get rid of the x's. Okay? I'm just going to slide this over so we can see it a little bit easier. So I multiplied this by 3 so to get +12 and this by 4 to get -12. So let's multiply all these top ones first. 3 times 4 is 12x. 3 times 5 is 15, so 15y. And 3 times 35, if you're not sure, you can multiply 35 times 3. Well, 5 times 3 is 15. Oops, so 1, 5. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 more is 10. Should be 105. Then on the bottom, 4 times -3 is -12x. 4 times -2 is 8y. And then 4 times -9 is negative, well, 4 times 9 is 36. And then we can combine our two equations together. So 12 minus 12, gone. 15 plus 8 should give us 23y. We add those up, 8 plus 5 should give us 12. Nope, 13, sorry. 13, and then 1 plus 1 is 2. Here we're subtracting 105 minus 36. I can't do 5 minus 6, I'm going to borrow here. 15 minus 6 is 9. 9 minus 3 is 6. So you can use a calculator to subtract that as well. That's fine. And then divide by 23. So those eliminate, and we have y equals. Now this one, you might not know, that's okay. 3 goes into 9 3 times, and 2 goes into 6 3 times as well, so your answer should be 3. 23 goes into 69 3 times. Now, all we have to do is plug this back in. I'm going to use the second equation. You can use the first one and get the same answer. So it says 2y and y is 3 equals 3x minus 9. This one just had smaller numbers to deal with. Well, we know this is just 6. So we need to just solve. First, get rid of your addition or subtraction. So we're going to add 9. So those are gone. We have 3x. 9 plus 6 more should give us 15. And then divide by 3. So x should equal 5. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So our answer is 5, 3. Alright, let's keep going. Next one is the word problem. It says a sports equipment store is having a sale on soccer balls. Cool, but we don't need that sentence. A soccer coach purchases 10 soccer balls and 2 soccer ball bags for $155. Another soccer coach purchases 12 soccer balls and 3 soccer ball bags for $189. Find the cost of a soccer ball and the cost of a soccer ball bag. So we have two things. We have the actual soccer balls and the bags. So I'm going to just say X to represent the ball and Y to represent the bag. So we have two situations. We have one coach and we have another coach. We need to write an equation for each coach. The first coach purchases 10 soccer balls. We don't know how much they cost, but we know it's X. Okay, X amount of dollars. The balls cost this much and the bags cost whatever Y is. So we know the first one purchases 10 soccer balls, so 10 times X, the number of balls, plus the number of bags, which is 2 bags, which is the letter Y, for a total of $155. Then we have our other coach. They purchased 12 soccer balls, so 12 times X, plus 3 soccer ball bags. Well, bags are Y, so 3Y, for a total of $189. So there are our 2 equations. Now we need to solve them to figure out what's X and what's Y. So first, neither of these are multiples of another. 10 times something is not going to give me 12. 2 times something is not going to give me 3. But 2 and 3 are a lot smaller numbers to multiply our equations by in order to get them to eliminate. We need one to be positive and one to be negative as well. Right now, they're both positive. So 2 times 3, if we just multiply these, will give us 6. So I need to multiply the top equation by 3 and the bottom equation by 2. That way they both are 6. And we need one to be negative, so I'm just going to pick the bottom one. It doesn't matter which one you pick. So I'm going to rewrite these equations, but multiply them all by 3. So 10 times 3 is 30x, plus 3 times 2 is 6y, and then 3 times 155. I'm just going to add up 155 3 times. Or you can use your calculator. 5 plus 5 plus 5 is 10. Nope, not 10. Goodness gracious. 15. Again, 15 plus 1 more is 16. And then there we have 4. So we have 465. That wasn't too bad. And then multiply all of these by negative 2. So 12 times negative 2 is negative 24x. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6y. That's our goal, to get rid of those. We're good so far. And then we have negative 2 times 189. So 189 times 2, or just add it up 2 times. 9 plus 9 is 18. 8 plus 8 is 16, plus 1 more is 17. So we have 378, but that's negative. So now, combine together. 6 minus 6 we know is going to go away. So over here we have 30x minus 24. Well, the difference between 24 and 30 is 6. And then we're subtracting here. I can't subtract 5 minus 8, so I'm going to borrow, make that a 5. 15 minus 8, if you're not sure, subtract, it's 7. And then we have 5 minus 7, can't do that, so I'm going to borrow from the 4. So we have 15 minus 7 is 8, and 3 minus 3 is 0. So then divide by 6, and we get x equals, and this is not going to be a very nice number. If you plug this in your calculator, you should get 14.5. So x is a soccer ball. It's going to cost you $14.50. You can put a 0 on there, so we're talking about money, if you would like. But now we need to plug that in to find y. I'm going to suggest using one of your original equations because they're smaller numbers. I'm going to use this top one in red. So 10x, and x is 14.5, plus 2y equals 155. Well, 10 times 14.5, you're really just moving the decimal if you're multiplying by 10, or if you use a calculator, should give you 145. Plus 2y equals 155. So get rid of your addition and subtraction. This is just a positive 145, so I'm going to subtract it. So those eliminate, and we have 2y equal to, this makes 0. 5 minus 4 is 1. And it should be 10. And then divide by 2. And y equals 5 then. So the bag would cost $5, and the soccer ball will cost $14. Now this $5 bag, I would think it's probably like one of those string backpacks or something like that, because you don't need a very expensive bag to just carry soccer balls around. Alright, and this last slide really isn't, there's not much to solve here. Just talking about the ignore this first one, the types of equations that we've learned how to use. This was 7.1. We learned how to graph wherever two lines cross. That's where our answer is, remember, as a point x comma y. Then we learned how to do substitution, which was lesson 7.2. Whenever it was solved for x or y, we could plug it in for that letter in the other equation. Then we learned 7.3. We learned adding and subtracting in one day. We learned how to add our equations together, or subtract, meaning flipping the signs, making them the opposite. And then today we learned multiplication, where you have to multiply both one or both equations in order to eliminate when you add your equations together. All right, your homework is out of the book. Don't worry, our next assignment will be a worksheet. You have to do these problems out of the book. Good luck.